I'm Alex, and I want to talk to you about an issue that I've faced with DirectLake models. Now, DirectLake models are awesome. They've got the performance of an import model with the near real-time capabilities of direct query, as they're looking directly at your lakehouse or your warehouse. The user experience is great, the capacity usage is reduced, so DirectLake models are the way to go. The problem that I faced was with deployment pipelines. Now, I found that DirectLake models had the deployment rules grayed out. So when I deployed from dev to test, it was still pointing towards the dev warehouse when I had published it to test. So found a couple of issues with this. Now, there are several places that you can create a DirectLake semantic model. You can first of all click new item in your workspace and then create a semantic model from there. That's where I bumped into issues. Now you can also create it within the lakehouse, so you've got a new semantic model there, and again I had the same issues. So where you want to be creating this is at the SQL endpoint of your lakehouse or in your warehouse. You've got the reporting tab and then you've got a new semantic model there. Now I'll show you the difference between the models that was created. So I've got all the models there. I've got the new item, the lakehouse and the SQL endpoint. When we come over to deployment rules, if we look at lakehouse first, everything's grayed out, so that's no good. And the new item created in the workspace, again, all grayed out. But when we come to the SQL endpoint, we have data source rules. So here we can tell it to, when it's deployed to test, we can tell it to point to the test lakehouse warehouse. Right, so that's great. So we know what the issue is and we know how to resolve it. Hopefully Microsoft will fix that bug, I believe it is, so we won't have that issue going forward, but just make sure in the meantime you're creating it from a SQL endpoint. Now, if you, like me, created a large semantic model only to find that when you come to deploying, we've not got the rules, and it's too late to just rebuild that model, you might want to use this little workaround that I've got. So I'm going to take it that everyone watching this has had issues with deployment, therefore their workspaces are already in GitHub. So I won't explain how to create the workspace branch, all that kind of stuff. But what I will do is I'll show you the workaround that we've got in place. So as I said, everything's been deployed and we're all the same in the test. But what we have is, if I just go to that workspace, fabric test, and if I show you one of the models in question, when I hover over here, we're looking towards the fabric workspace rather than the fabric test. So let's go back to the workspace. So we need that model to point to the lakehouse in test. So open up your lakehouse, and what you need is the workspace ID, which is the first part, the first GUID, and then after lakehouses, you want the item GUID. And if we go back to the workspace, and if you look towards your GitHub source control and open up the branch, you'll see all of the models here. And if we go to the definition and click expressions, we have the connection string here. So we need to start replacing this workspace ID. So we'll grab previous lakehouse workspace GUID, and let's replace this. Well, let's edit first. replace the GUID. And we also need to replace the item here. So this is the second part. And we can commit that with a note. Back to the workspace. We've got a note saying we've got pending changes from GitHub, and we can just press update all. Okay, now let's check the semantic model. Hover over, and there we go, workspace fabric test.